Chairman, I move to recommend at town meeting, Article 9, funded FY 2011 evaluation.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Article 10, Capital Improvement Plan. We'll be making a recommendation at town meeting. Mr. Balakonis will be presenting to the board on what's that next meeting, the 28th. He will be making a detailed presentation on the capital plan. So we'll be making that recommendation at town meeting. Any questions? Article 11, transfer funds from the ambulance account, $20,000. This is a request of the fire department to purchase 2 powered stretchers for the town's ambulances. I think this is an aim to reduce the strain and potential injuries some of the firefighters have received in the past for doing heavy lifting. We have a motion. Fire chief is here. You want to...
Richard Harris. What we did is we tried to get a grant last year to buy the 2 stretchers. We reportedly have, in the last 18 years, we've had 35 back injuries, and 40% of those back injuries are due to in the ambulance cot load. And our thought is to reduce the injuries, as people are heavier these days, by going to a powered stretcher, being able to raise and lower it, and not hurting many people. We're being stretched even thinner with the police department, unavailable all the times to help us. So we're trying to find another way to, being manpower short, another way to
Just
lift our stretchers.
Yes, Mr. Vino.
So, Chief, I'm just curious. So this does not assist on the stairway at all, though, carrying down. It's just
Carrying
in the vehicle?
Putting the stretcher in, lifting the stretcher up
In-
into the ambulance.
Into the vehicle.
putting it
Okay, yeah,
down.
no, I was just curious. I'm not opposed to
A
it.
couple of
I didn't
years
know
ago-
if they had something now to come down stairways or something
A couple
where
of years ago, we did.
I would
purchase a
assume you had
couple
most of the injuries.
A couple of stairs stretchers that do that. They have tracks on them, they lay back, and they actually assist in taking people down stairs and so forth. We've eliminated injuries due to that by purchase of that.
Richard, what are the weight of these things? I'm thinking, just like Joe, if you have to go upstairs with someone and, these things must weigh more than the stretchers you're using now.
What we've gone to now is we try to do our lifting and so forth outside of the building. We've got these stair stretchers that are able to lift large people and so forth. They have better wheels, they have tracks to go up and down, to go downstairs, the ability so people don't get hurt. And what we try to do now is keep our stretchers outside, bringing people to the outside, and then our lifting is all done on the outside with the stretcher. The stretcher itself right now
So
weighs
you actually
70
move them from one
pounds.
stretcher to another. So you use one stretcher to get them out of the house,
Yep.
and then another one to transport?
It's actually a chair. It looks like a chair. We bring the people outside to it. Because the stretchers nowadays weigh 70 pounds themselves. So that along with the 200-pound person is 270 pounds before you even start. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find a way. They make electric ones and they make air-assisted ones. And we're going to evaluate which one would be better for us before we go ahead and purchase them. There are some towns that are using them now. And, what we're trying to do is stop people from getting injured.
We have a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to recommend Article 11, transfer funds for ambulance account.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. Vino. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Article 12 is the purchase of map 72 parcel 1 and 71 parcel 115961 Adams Street property. This is related to town exercising its option on property that's coming out of Chapter 59, Section 21C. discussion on this, Mr. O'Leary?
I just think we need to withhold our recommendation until town meeting, until we get further advice from council as to if and how or when we're gonna, if we're gonna proceed.
Mhm.
We're still waiting.
Ken, do you have any more information at this point? No?
Nothing that's gonna change, I mean, we still don't have any definite answers, so
Yeah, so we don't really have a recommendation from LUC at this point either, a formal recommendation.
we're still waiting for
Right.
information.
Just, if I may, Mr. Chair, just for the record, I know there was some confusion, I wouldn't say confusion, differences at the last meeting, whether this actually bordered Swan Pond or not. It does not, this property, correct?
Well, I mean, to what rules are we supposed to be in executive session and not in executive session when discussing this? I mean,
No, I mean, I'm just asking
He's
a
asking you a
question. I'm just
question,
asking,
does the
this-
property border
does this border Swan Pond?
as I tried to clarify in my past communications, it's not necessarily a simple yes or no question to that. So, I mean, you know, I can give you an answer, but that's not gonna tell the whole story. And, you know, therefore, if you want me to report on it accurately, and if you feel that discussion should be done in executive session, then I'm just
We will,
following my
if,
instructions.
all right, we'll do that at our next meeting if required, and you'll be notified, okay?
But, no, it's just- it's gonna be
if I may,
printed in
Mr.
the
Chair,
warrant. The
I was only
picture-
asking, does the water touch this property?
Based upon the picture we have, it doesn't appear
It
that way.
doesn't, okay, that's all, I just wanted
Doesn't
to,
appear that way.
because there was confusion on that.
And I previously, in simple status, answered the board on
Right.
that question. And I believe you all got that answer.
Right. Joe, I sent an email with regard to that some
No.
time ago. to
No, I
everybody
didn't, I've been
too.
having a problem.
Okay, recommendation to be made at town meeting?
Right.
We don't need to vote on
Okay.
that.
So we don't need to vote on it?
No.
Okay.
We haven't taken a position. so
Right, we have to
made it-
recommend
Yeah.
it be a town meeting,
All right.
right?
Yeah,
That's
recommend
what I
it.
thought.
Okay, go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman, I move to recommend at town meeting, Article 12, purchase of map 72, parcel 1, and map 71, parcel 11, 59, and 61 Adam Street.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
Aye.
Article 14.
Whatever,
13,
13.
Sorry.
13.
Article 13, school reserve account, transfer ARRA funds for educational purposes. This is, it's not to transfer ARRA funds.
Right.
So there's been a little miscommunication here.
So it's the
What
whole.
this is about is that the superintendent of schools does not want to spend the entire ARRA fund allocation of $775,000. He only wants to spend $419,000 of it. I asked that we put an article in to create a fund that we can reduce the school budget, basically, by the difference between the by $419,000, basically. No, by the difference. And put it into the account so that it will be available in 2011. Now, it may be because there was some hint in the last round of ARRA instructions that they may be able to actually request that. But in case they can't, we want to have a place to guarantee that any money that isn't spent in this school year's budget doesn't go back into the general fund, but is put into a fund reserved for next year's school budget. So the transfer ARRE funds for educational purposes should not be,
It's not, it's basically, it's a holding account.
oh, that's right, this is
It's just a holding.
this is whole because the actual language is,
So, but it's a holding account, it's not a
Right.
transfer account, it's
Right.
it's for the funds to come into, to be dispersed from.
right, but
But
it's not ARA funds that are going in there. There's actual language that will be available at town meeting, but...
We need to have an article that adequately notifies the public
Right.
as to what we're looking to do. So, create a school reserve account.
Right.
For the purpose of carrying
federal educational funds?
No, it's not really federal education funds.
Really, school budget funds, separate and apart from ARRA funds. That's what you're looking to
But
put in there.
but the money that's being allocated is specifically for educational purposes.
Right.
So it really is school education, it's educational funds. It's the supplement. Those funds cannot be used for any other purpose other than education.
Right. This is setting up the funds, it's not actually doing the
Right,
transaction,
this
so
is
we
just
need to
because
really
of the lack
define a
of,
fund.
Joe? Joe, maybe you can help us out here a little bit as far as,
It's already a reserve account, so if we don't spend it, it just stays with that account. It's already set up.
there's already an account set up for the federal monies
I thought
coming
it
in?
was- No, this is not for federal monies.
Oh,
The
right.
fu-
Federal-
My
no, it's the other
assumption is the
ARA.
federal monies have to be spent.
Right.
Right.
But this money's already in a special reserve account.
We're not talking
Just by
about,
the nature of its
Joe,
name.
we're not talking about the ARRA money.
Right.
We're talking about if the school department has to apply and utilize whatever they apply for, the $775,000. The superintendent doesn't plan on using all of that money, but because he has to use the money, at least that's our interpretation, right? He'll want to reduce the school budget by that amount of money, the $419,000, not the difference.
The difference between,
No, the
But it's
419.
still gonna get the 775.
Right, but the
Yeah.
419, if it isn't
We wanna
spent,
then
goes into the
take that-
general account. We
that-
want to
That
keep it in school account.
419, we want to put into an account, so it's available in 2011,
For the
not
schools.
returned to the general fund at the end of fiscal 2010.
Unless we get a directive from the state that it's gonna close out free cash, and then we'll have to appropriate it from next year's free cash.
But if we
No,
said-
in April, what we want to do is to reduce the school budget on the omnibus article by $419,000 and transfer that money into this account.
Like I said before, unless the state gives us the directive, I think it's gonna have to close out.
no, but it's not the ARRA money.
Any money.
No, we're reducing the school budget. Now we have surplus money we want to put into an account.
For school
Why
purposes.
can't we do that?
Because normally, when you have excess money, it closes to free cash.
No,
Right.
no, no,
Yeah, yeah,
you're
no,
missing the
normal, but we don't want the
point.
norm. We
We're
don't
going
want
to
the
do, in April town meeting, we want to transfer
I just gotta find out.
from raise and appropriate
For what
into a
money?
fund,
It's for next year.
into a
Fiscal
fund.
year 2011.
Yeah.
Well, or beyond.
Right, well, let me
Well, beyond.
find out the legality.
No, we need an article
But we need
next,
some
right,
general language
All right.
for the fund,
right now.
right now.
No pressure.
We'll come back to it.
Work on the next one.
Article 14, amend Article 7, April 6, 2009 Annual Town Meeting, Parks and Recreation Revolving Fund. This is to change the reauthorization from $237,490 to $324,228. And this is in anticipation of all the new revenue that Recreation is going to generate from the new turf field. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
So-
Which is an incorrect number that was placed on the warrant. The number that we put on the warrant was just incorrect, it was like a number based on 2 years ago. So we wanted to get the max of the 1%.
The maximum, right. Okay. So, I have a recommendation or a motion? Mr. Yule?
Yep. Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend Article 14, amend Article 7, April 6, 2009, Annual Town Meeting, Recreation Revolving Fund.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Article 15.
I hate
We
this
do
job.
have a, okay, it's still an issue. Article 15, amend Code Chapter 80, hazardous materials. Chief, you want to give us a quick overview on that?